So Gary, why Ireland for resting our data here?
Well, I guess when you consider Ireland has been the gateway, the digital gateway to Europe for the past 6 decades, it makes obvious why the likes of IBM, Digital Corporation, Dell, Gateway, and now the big cloud providers have evolved rather than emerged into wanting to host their data in Ireland as a gateway into Europe. So most people remember the floppy disk era, most people remember the CD-ROM era, or even the fob. The one that they're not quite as comfortable with is the cloud era because you can't see it. And therefore, really, when you consider the large data centres and the smaller ones that are in Ireland, it really is just an evolution of what we've been doing for all those years with those corporations.
Do you think Ireland's set up for success for companies setting up here?
Well, I think data now is the fulcrum of all industry. You know, I mean, if you listen to the Economic Forum, they talk about the Industrial Revolution 4.0. That's where we're in. And it's a data revolution. So therefore, any geographic location that can really put itself forward as a location that understands the value of data, the security of data, the sovereignty of the data. And if you're in the middle of that, then you understand you're right in the mine. If we were to go back to previous industrial revolutions, you're sitting on the mine. So it's what we mine from that, though, as in the diamonds or the gold, which is the dividend for a country. And I think that's harder often for us to get across, is that data centers where the data rests are like the mine. And then it's the dividend of the miners. And what we want to try and do, and I think that's why we're involved with yourself, is we don't export the diamonds to another country for them to make all the money, right? We want to retain the intellectual property. We want to demonstrate that we can also polish the diamonds. We can also have the best cutters and we can create the best jewellery. So ultimately, from my objective of being here, it's very much how do we align ourselves? We have the data. We're a tier 1 geographic location, so how do we retain the data but add value to it? And obviously as data now, and particularly over the next 5 years, 5% of all data, according to IDC, will be life-altering critical. Life-altering critical. Up to this point, you know, we haven't had our heart defibrillators or whatever all connected, autonomization of cars. So AI is the only way, really, we can increase our levels of knowing that the data is secure. And that's a key ingredient.
It's very, very true. I think AI has the opportunity to change every industry as we see it and change society as well. But having a mindful strategy around that is going to be something that's going to embrace that and come together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think education, we're at the education stage now. You know, you're way too young to remember, but I've been through the era where people were fearful of 3G antenna, where the antennas that were going to be put around were going to give us horrendous diseases and stuff. We had to get over that using science and also using social interfacing with people. AI, depending on who you talk to, either is a robot that's going to replace them or is something that's going to help them. Now, we're still in that sort of educational side of things. So that's why when I look at the companies that are also working with you, it's a real blend of state, leading companies, associations, and really what I see where we are in AI is more about the evolution of education. Because most people are already using it. Whether they're using Spotify, Maps, they're already using it. It's only when we put a little eyes and a mouth on it that suddenly it becomes a different animal.
Yeah, and I think that's the educational space. It's a government-led strategy. Everybody being kind of mindful about what AI can do and what AI can't. And we're engaged in AI every day. From getting on our bus, seeing the timetables, to actually interact with Spotify, WhatsApp, you name it as well. Garry Connolly, HostinIreland, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome, Mark. Thank you.